There are three questions that every human being should ask themselves. Who am I? Why am I here? And what can I do? The first question borders around your uniqueness and talents. The second is about purpose, and the third is connected to your assignment. Your talents and purpose are connected. In fact, your talents help you achieve your purpose. The best thing that can happen to anyone is to find his or her ikigai. This is a Japanese word which simply means a reason to live or our life's purpose. Now, when we talk about talent, people often think about folks like Michael Jordan, Whitney Houston, Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, and great people like that. However, there is no man or woman on earth that has not been endowed with some talents. We are dynamic beings, which means that we are actually often blessed with multiple talents. Yes, multiple talents. Now, what we need to do is to figure out the ones that are tied to our purpose and focus our attention on them. As you try to find out what your talents are, it is critical that you understand your purpose first, as your talents help you achieve your purpose. Now, write down a purpose statement for your life. Many years ago, I wrote down one for myself, and it sounds like this: to inspire and cheer people as they journey towards their destinies and lift up those that fall along the way. You know, I keep updating it as I go along, but the core of my purpose stays the same. Now, most of what I've been involved with has to do with my purpose, if you actually think about it. Now, what are the differences between talents and skills? Now, talent is something that is innate, which means that you're born with it. It is your natural ability. Skill is something that you acquire, learn, and develop. It requires work. Now, today, I'll be sharing how to identify your talents and how to build on them, and the benefits of pursuing and finding your talents. Now, let's start with 5 ways to identify your talents. Number 1, look inward. Now, identifying your talent requires doing a thorough personal evaluation. Take time out of the hustle and bustle and find some quiet time for a deep reflection. List your qualities and characteristics. Dig really deep and try to answer the question, who am I? Find out if you are compassionate, have an eye for detail, talkative, organized, patient, a great listener, calm under pressure and easy to talk to, or do you always have ingenious solutions to challenging situations? Are you great at connecting people, or are you good at motivating people to do things they never thought they could do? No, try to describe your qualities. You need to have an intimate and honest conversation with yourself and pay crucial attention to things you respond to and why. Now, what did you love as a child? This is very important. And make sure you accept the prompting when your heart tilts towards something. Accepting who you really are and what you were put on this earth to do will require your acceptance before it blossoms. No, muster the courage to face the truth about you. It is getting harder and harder these days for people to accept who they really are. And this is because there's so much emphasis on, fame and stardom. This puts a tremendous burden on everyone to try to impress others and, to win their admiration. Now, these distractions that we face sometimes derail us from our purpose. And sometimes money, prestige, and other factors make it difficult for many people to honor and express their talents. Don't try to be somebody else. Your power is embedded in your uniqueness, and therein lies your greatness. Get involved in an array of things, and you'll actually find out more about yourself. Don't be afraid to discover and experience new horizons. Number 2, identify what you do effortlessly. What puts you in the zone? There's some things that, if someone woke you up from sleep, you can do without much exertion. When you are operating in your gift, it does not feel like a task or work. It comes naturally to you. I mean, it could be something that others may find cumbersome, but you just swing it without any sweat. I mean, the reason some people reach genius level at what they do is because they are flowing in harmony with the current of their inherent abilities. Now, there is no limit to how much you can grow when you are connecting with who you really are. Now, Walt Disney, for instance, as a child, was creative and would draw for hours. And by the time he was a teenager, he was already working at a company as an illustrator. He would eventually become a cartoonist, voice-over actor, filmmaker, and the visionary behind Disneyland. He ended up winning 22 Oscars from 59 nominations. I mean, All this was possible because he explored his talent and was passionate about it. Number 3, figure out what you are passionate about. I mean, if money was not a problem, what would you spend your time on? What do you do effortlessly that gives you the most excitement? What do you have the propensity to do that makes you lose concept of time? I mean, what do you love so much that it makes you light up? Know that sometimes what we love is not necessarily what we are talented in. For instance, I love music and I enjoy singing a lot, but I'm not talented in music. I mean, I have a trophy though for the best bathroom singer. Now, what you are talented in comes naturally to you. You don't have to struggle, to operate in your talent. I mean, also identify the things that you admire. Do you remember when you felt thrilled when you saw someone actually fulfilling a certain role? Did you wish you could be in their shoes? I mean, what sparks a certain interest in you that makes you yearn to do something? Write these things down. Number 4, get external feedback. Sometimes people see in us what we do not see in ourselves. Ask trusted family members and friends about what they think you are great at. I mean, it is helpful to hear what they have to say and also pay attention to what people compliment you for. Be careful though, not to shrug off what people tell you because you do not believe in yourself. I became a speaker because of the feedback I got from others. During the annual Excellence Awards, I usually do the welcome speech or thank our sponsors. And the commander of the Canadian Forces was present at one of the events and invited me to be the keynote speaker at the recruitment ceremony for the induction of new recruits to the Army. I was actually going to say no because I did not believe that I could do it. I mean, I was kind of intimidated. So when I mentioned it to a couple of people, they told me that, I was a great speaker and could do it. So I said yes. Then I got invited to speak at the university, the Rotary Club, to Royal Bank of Canada employees, and so on. I mean, the calls have not stopped. A few weeks ago, an organization reached out to me to say that they will actually pay me $5,000 to give a 40-minute presentation. I was like, really? It is interesting when I think of it because in high school, I used to represent my school in debating and impromptu speech competitions. While listening to other people's opinions about what they think you're good at, you have to determine your talents and purpose yourself. External factors are pointers, but you have to confirm it. You have to live it. Number 5, find out what you dislike. Some things drain the energy out of you. When, I'm involved with things that I dislike, I feel drained. I usually joke that it makes me actually grow gray hair. You use more energy when you are working on tasks that you do not like. This is an indicator that you're not in your zone. Now, if you make a list of things you dislike, it will actually give you an idea of what you're not cut out for. What you dislike says a lot about what you like and are meant to add to the world. You may have some talents that can actually provide solutions to things you see as issues. A few years ago, I interviewed Hollywood actor Danny Glover and found out that he actually hates injustice. Danny's strong hatred for injustice and marginalization is a reason for his activism. He has donated to many causes over the years because of his hatred for injustice. Now, when you discover that you dislike something, your purpose may be the opposite. Once you determine your talents, how can you build on them? Number 1, have an open mind. It is important to recognize that your talents may not be in alignment with the path that you may have carved out for yourself. The environment that you are in may also not be conducive for you to actualize it. But do not set boundaries. When you're trying to take steps towards developing your talents, just have an open mind. Be open to various possibilities and you will see opportunities all around you. Number 2, explore. Take the driver's seat in your life. Things will not just happen miraculously. Doing is the beginning of being. For you to see results, you have to act and start taking the necessary steps towards your goals. Your talent could be in something that you've never tried before. You will never grow beyond what you're exposed to. So for instance, I didn't know that I had a talent to communicate until I was involved in a theater group. It is while I was actually moderating a play that someone approached me to audition for a TV show. This is also how I discovered that I had a talent to write, because I used to write the plays. Now, I have since written hundreds of articles, countless television shows, film scripts, and I'm currently writing for a drama series. Now, make time for self-discovery. The different activities and hobbies that you do will show you a lot about yourself. Make time for self-discovery. Try different activities and hobbies. I mean, you will never recognize what you're gifted in unless you venture outside of your comfort zone and try new things. You know, sometimes our inner voice tells us that we're not good enough or smart enough to do certain things. Always remember that you're smarter than you think and more capable than you give yourself credit for. Identify all of the prospects of putting your talents to use. What areas of professional or vocational spheres can your talent be utilized in? What kind of undertakings and activities does it necessitate? You know, there's a great parable about the talents in the Bible that speaks of 3 men that were given talents by their master. One received 5 talents, the second got 2, and the third got 1. The man that received 5 talents invested it and gained 5 more talents. The man with 2 talents gained 2 more talents. The one that received 1 talent, though, buried his talent and gave it back to his master and said, you know, you are a wicked man and you want to reap where you did not sow. The master was upset and took the 1 talent and gave it to the guy that now had, 10 talents. The unfaithful servant who buried his talent was cast in darkness. Now, this story shows that your talent multiplies when you put it to use. Not doing anything about your gift is acting like the man with 1 talent who buried his talent. Even the 1 talent that he had was taken away. You cannot discover your talent by doing nothing. Being grateful and loving yourself is the first step. When you love and appreciate yourself, you'll be proud to showcase the real you. Number 3, do not be afraid. You need courage to embrace and build on your talents. Mozart, the legendary composer, nearly gave up on his dream because his father was not supportive. He eventually summoned up the courage to do what his heart was telling him. And today, he's considered one of the greatest composers in the history of Western music. If he never summoned up the courage to move in spite of his father's disapproval, he would have missed the opportunity of fulfilling his destiny. Number 4, hone your skills. You can turn your talent into a skill, but you need to take the time to cultivate and develop it. Get more training and network with people in the area, volunteer and do things and activities connected to your talents. Right now is the best time, to do that because, we have been blessed with a lot of virtual courses and programs. A few years ago, there was a study that was done of 1,600 children who were 5 years old. They were tested for creativity and imagination and solving problems. Now, 98% of these kids performed at genius level. The same kids were tested 5 years later on, and 38% performed at genius level. When the kids were 15 years old, only 12% performed at genius level. And as adults, just 2%. Now, what this shows is that environment, interest, and other factors can affect our talents. I mean, if you do nothing to utilize and improve your talents, it will be stifled. As women, we often put our goals at the back burner because we are actually occupied taking care of the family and other things. No, you cannot be fulfilled if you do not do what God put you on this earth to do. Know that you'll be a better mom, sister, auntie, colleague, wife, and citizen of the world if you're living your purpose and using your talents. Number 5, be passionate. That thing that sparks a fire, that is a driving force that moves you to give your best while having fun is nothing but passion. When you find your passion, it unlocks the door of success and purpose. It unleashes your God-given potentials. Passion fuels your interest and energy to move. I mean, it makes you give 100% and also inspires others around you. When you discover your talent, do not be passive about it. Actualize them and be driven and passionate. Passionate people are not afraid to take risks, and they're high achievers. Passion provides the enthusiasm required to push through the biggest barriers and overcome the most unusual challenges. Number 6, never give up. When you start to build on your talent, it may not be easy at the beginning, but things will fall in place at the end. I mean, God has equipped each and every one of us with talents that we need to succeed for our individual journeys. You just need to find your lane. It is never too late, to begin the journey towards achieving your true potential. There was a time that my focus was on making money. I mean, since I started living for a higher purpose, money has actually been chasing me. The meaning of success to me is fulfilling the purpose of which I was created and leaving the world better than I found it. You truly begin to live after you find your purpose and start to pursue it. You're an original, furnished with unique gifts and talents to add value to the world. You have to make up your mind to do something about it. To do something about your talent. If you bury it, you're burying your potential. You only have one life to live. Only you can decide how you live it. The past is gone, but today is your opportunity, one season, to ensure that your future is rewarding and fulfilling. Fear sometimes can be our number one enemy. Fear of the unknown, fear of survival, even fear of leaving what you're currently pursuing to do what your purpose is. If you never try, you never win. Do something about your life and your future today. The mystery of life is enclosed in a beautiful journey if you discover the reason for the trip. What stands between you and what you want to do is what to do or do not do. Norman Cousin said, the tragedy of life is what dies inside a man while he lives. Do not let your talent die. In order to hear the right voice, you need to turn off the wrong voice. What you believe about yourself is what you are actually eventually going to become. If you believe that you can't, you can't. You are as weak as you think you are, and as strong as you decide to be. Decide to be strong, courageous, and fearless. Decide to find your purpose and talents and do whatever it takes to fulfill your God-given potentials.
Subscribe to Patricia Bebiamawa's YouTube page for more inspirational videos.